Don, thank you very much, and I do appreciate it, and good afternoon to everybody. It is a great pleasure to be here with all of you. Um, as your District 6040 Public Image Chair, I really do appreciate the opportunity to talk with you on the topic of Rotary Public Image as it relates to you, especially those of you who are assistant governors. So my objective today is, as Don alluded, is to recruit your help as assistant governors to monitor and encourage clubs to utilize Rotary Public Image branding materials. Okay, to do that, to give you an idea of why public image is important and what it can do for our clubs and for Rotary overall, and an idea of the tools that our clubs can use to reach into their communities with the Rotary branding message. Ultimately, I want to give you some ideas and a simple checklist that you can use to monitor and measure the public image efforts of our clubs, those with which you are associated. The ultimate payoff of that will be that we will hopefully have greater exposure and awareness of Rotary in our communities, and hopefully that we will achieve increased levels of membership as kind of a side benefit. Sound reasonable? Let's begin. First, a bit of background. The need for Rotary Public Image. Now, most of you have been around Rotary for quite a while. You've been at Rotary Leadership Institute, for example, so you'll be familiar with some of these figures. But Rotary membership has been stagnant worldwide for about 15 years at 1.2 million. So if we dig a little deeper into that, membership in Rotary and other service clubs has been declining in the Western Hemisphere, in the US and Canada and so forth. But it has been growing in the East. And with that balance, we've kind of maintained that 1.2 million member level. So a while back, Rotary launched an extensive market research effort. It went into Rotary branding, the public perception of Rotary, why and under what circumstances people would want to join Rotary. So among other findings, research revealed that 6 out of 10 people did not even know that there was a Rotary club in their own community. Are you disappointed? I was. So if you were to go down to the downtown area of Lee Summit or Liberty or Unionville or Macon or Kirksville or wherever you would go, 6 out of 10 people in your community probably would not be able to tell you whether or not there is a Rotary club in your town. Let me give you a quick story that I heard from Elizabeth Yusevich, who is our Zone 31 Public Image Coordinator. Brilliant lady, most of you know her. Elizabeth tells how there was a company that manufactures shoes, and they were looking to expand their market into a neighboring country. So they went to 2 of their top salespeople and asked them to check out this new territory. The first person came back totally dejected. They said, "We'll never be able to sell any shoes there. Just forget the whole thing. No one there wears shoes." Okay. The second individual returned a few days later, burst into the company president's office, so excited that he could hardly speak. He said, "We've got to move into this market as quickly as possible. The field is wide open. No one there wears shoes." So from that illustration, hopefully you can see that we've got a problem, or maybe it's an opportunity. So I'd ask each of you to take this opportunity to think about when you joined Rotary. Think about your knowledge of Rotary before you joined. What was your perception of Rotary? How about your desire to join Rotary before you actually got an invitation? I mean, were you sitting at your desk daily thinking, "Gosh, I hope today is the day somebody invites me to a Rotary meeting," right? And then think about the moment that you realized you wanted to join. Let me take just a minute to tell you my Rotary story. I knew very little about Rotary. A friend of mine whom I had known for many years, many of you would know him, Carl Chinnery, invited me to come to a meeting. Now, I had absolutely no idea of what to expect. I walked into the room. I recognized many people there as community and business leaders. 2 seats down from me sat the mayor of Lee Summit. The chief of police was 2 tables over. The superintendent of public schools was behind me. There were city council members, there were school board members, business leaders. it was a very impressive gathering. And, frankly, I had the impression initially that I didn't belong. When I got home, and in the coming week or so, I took time to read the membership packet that I was given. I read how we are this close to eradicating polio from the face of the earth, and Rotary's work in literacy and in providing clean water around the world, and in Rotary grants, both district-wide and globally, and the Rotary Peace Initiatives, and the 6 areas of Rotary focus. And I remember clearly the night that I sat at dinner table with my wife, and I turned to her and I said, this is an organization that I want to be part of. Okay, so again, I would challenge each of you to think about your initial reaction and your perceptions of Rotary and what caused you to want to join. And if you're like me, you went through pretty much that same process, which is what I'm assuming the Rotary Brand Task Force came up with. They discovered, and again, I'm extrapolating here, but they found out that people wanted to join an organization that is action-oriented, that is actively serving in its community, that is making a difference in its community and around the world. And so when they boiled all this down, it culminated in the introduction of the People of Action Rotary brand campaign. Hopefully you've all seen it. As I say, you've all been around for a while, so you've probably been exposed to it. But you've seen the People of Action Rotary campaign, along with the number of hashtags that are available. Together we connect, together we inspire, together we transform, and there are a number of others. So as your district public image chair, I want to encourage all the clubs in the district to use this campaign to drive visibility and engagement and attention in Rotary. And as I said earlier, as a byproduct, to enhance membership and recruiting efforts. Because my contention is that when people understand who we are and what we're about, they will want to join us. So a couple weeks back, actually May 30th, at the Show Me Rotary training for Presidents-elect, I had the opportunity to talk with incoming presidents and vice presidents regarding public image, to encourage them to use this campaign in their communities. So as assistant governors, I'm asking you to help reinforce that message, to monitor and encourage your clubs to implement the People of Action campaign in their clubs. Now, there are 3 specific channels that I'm recommending. You're all aware of the importance and the power of social media. Specifically Facebook. Research has shown us that 86% of American adults are on Facebook, and they spend a lot of time on Facebook. Facebook can help shape your ideas and opinions, and we as Rotary can leverage that reach and power to increase awareness of Rotary in our clubs, in what our clubs are doing in their communities. So I encourage each of the club presidents to appoint or anoint a public image chair or public relations chair who leads the Rotary efforts for their club. Now, again, I would emphasize leads, because most members of our clubs are probably on Facebook. So at the same time I would have one person leading it, I would ask everyone to participate in Rotary on social media. I asked the club presidents to invite their club members to like their page, and then like, share, and comment on club posts. Now, these actions can significantly boost the reach of a given post, enhancing its visibility in your community. You know, there's the old saying, if the tree falls in the woods and no one is there to hear it, did it make a sound? Okay, well, it's kind of the same thing with a social media post. Again, emphasizing social. If a social media post is put up there and nobody reacts to it, nobody likes it, nobody shares it, nobody comments on it, it will die a quick, quiet, and painless death. Okay? If people start liking it, if people share it with their circle of friends, if people comment on it and start a discussion on social media, it greatly amplifies the power of that post to get out into the community and its visibility. I've asked them to be consistent and to be out there, to post several times a week about their programs, about their speakers, about their service projects, about what it means to be a Rotarian. It is important to be posting several times a week. We've probably all been to a Facebook page or to a website that isn't being maintained. And we wonder if that entity is still around or still in business. I recently had, there was an organization that I was doing some work with here in the Kansas City area. And I went to their LinkedIn page, you know, just to kind of see what that was about. The most recent post on LinkedIn for this particular organization was like 18 months old. Okay, now again, I had met with them that day, so I knew exactly what I was getting into, and I knew that, you know, these people, it's a vital organization, it's an important organization. But if I had gone there without knowing that, I would have questioned whether or not they were interested in reaching people, whether or not they were even in business. So it's important to be posting on a regular basis. The next channel that I would recommend, and Don alluded to it a little earlier, is the club's website. Because when people become aware of Rotary, often on social media, you know, they'll be seeking more information. And a lot of times they will come from social media and go to the club's website for more information. It's a natural progression. The website becomes where the community will visit to find more information. The club's websites don't have to be fancy. Club Runner has a great format, a great template that can be used. A number of us use it in the district as individual clubs. In fact, David McCoy was instrumental in creating and maintaining the district's website, which is again a Club Runner template. It doesn't need to be fancy. It doesn't need to be up to date. The next thing that I would strongly recommend would be a newsletter. It is a great way to stay in touch with your members as constituents inside and outside the club. And each week, for example, I send out a simple newsletter to the members of the Rotary Club of Lee Summit, things that they need to know. Right now, I send out our Zoom information, information about our upcoming speakers and programs, our service projects, etc. And again, it's on Club Runner. It's a template. Doesn't have to be fancy, but it should be consistent to get that word out there. So now, I want to go to the specifics of the Rotary branding and image campaign. Give me just a second here. I've got some stuff that I want to share. Yay, maybe. There, I've lost the button I need to push. Ha! There we go. Okay. So what I would ask them to do, what I have asked them to do, is to use the appropriate Rotary branding and resource information. The Rotary People of Action campaign is a very powerful thing. It can be used across many mediums. It can be used on Facebook. It can be used on websites. It can be used in printed materials. It really helps to make a brand promise to the people who might be seeing it and to get them thinking about, oh, this is an organization that is active and involved and doing things in our communities. I would ask that you would use the product overlays, the graphic overlays that you will find on the Rotary International site. And when I shared this with the club presidents a couple weeks back, I showed them where it was on the Rotary International site. It is the brand center. It is a tremendous resource for all kinds of different information on marketing and so forth. And you will see pieces like this. Together, we connect. This is, and by the way, these photos that I'm showing you are actual examples of photos from the district, okay? So this comes from Andrew County. It was a district grant project, a very successful project. Together, we transform. These young ladies were part of a group, I believe it was in Peru. It was a district grant project. It was a People of Action Award winner. But again, notice the use of the together. I'm showing this on my screen and I'm using my mouse to emphasize it for you, which of course you can't see. But together we transform, okay? Wait, I missed one. Ah, there we go. Many of you know Tricia Kennedy. I believe she's the immediate past president of the Rotary Club of Blue Springs. This was a project that was an outstanding project that the Blue Springs Club worked on. It was a district grant project. And again, it was a People of Action Award winner. So when we begin using these, we really, we see the clubs as action-oriented and community-oriented. I have prepared a checklist that I will send to you via Don. It is based in part on a Rotary Zone 3031 criteria, which our own Elizabeth Yusevich played a significant role in developing. I would ask that you take a look at the clubs in your sphere of influence to review the following. Here we go. Is the club using Facebook or other social media? If they're not, as we've kind of reviewed, they're missing a great opportunity. Are they posting to social media several times a week? Are they keeping the message out there? Are they utilizing the People of Action hashtag on social media posts? Do they use a People of Action header on their website and Facebook page? When you see this on a Facebook page, when you see it on a club's website, it really immediately sets the tone to use one of these photographs with one of these overlays. And again, do they have a website that is being kept current? The next thing, are they using action photos, right? Think about this. What we want is photos that show club members who are involved in service projects, like the photos that we just showed you. Show the beneficiaries of your efforts, as we saw from Kirksville, Thousand Hills. Show your grant projects and how they're impacting and influencing the community to enhance your visibility. What we want to avoid is, you know, as former club presidents, we've all done this, the grip and grin. Now, I took this picture from Google. I have absolutely no idea who these people are, so hopefully no one will be offended. We've all done this. The president of the club hands a check to the head of the local 501c3, you know, congratulates them, and they have a handshake, and they put it up on social media, and nobody cares. Nobody, okay? If it's not action-oriented, it really doesn't have much of an impact. And again, I say that I am as guilty of this as anyone, but I would encourage you to avoid that. Are they incorporating People of Action overlays and slogans on some photos and posts? And again, this would be like the ones that I showed you: Together We Inspire, Together We Connect, Together We Transform, and there are a number of others. And it doesn't have to be on every photo that you would post. In fact, if you do, it will get kind of monotonous and obnoxious. But, you know, on several, you know, be sure to include those overlays. Does the club have and use a newsletter or other ways to communicate with their members? And, you know, hopefully that message will get out into the community. So the bottom line is that we want to encourage our clubs to engage in promoting a positive public image. And your help in reinforcing this message can be instrumental in advancing the People of Action campaign, and it will help make Rotary more visible in our communities throughout the district, and in doing so, help our clubs in the district grow greater membership. I want to thank all of you for your time, and thank you in advance for your efforts. And Don, back to you.
Thank you, Kirby. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. That was, you know, that, folks, that's so meaningful, I think. Um, yeah, as I said earlier, I know we have different types of clubs out there. Um, and, you know, I'm old enough to know all of this stuff has come to me later in life, Facebook, etc. And I'm not very efficient at it. I avoided it for years. But now it's, you know, I've made the decision. I've got a bigger responsibility. So, and I bought into Kirby's sales pitch here. So I'm just asking all of you to do the same. We have everybody's a little different out there in terms of what they've got, but that stat that 80% of people are on Facebook, I mean, that means millions and millions and millions of people, and a lot of them are in our clubs. So if you would, just that this checklist that Kirby's going to send out, take some time, and you can do this pretty much from your office, because you can look you can try to Google them and find out what they got, and then have the conversation with the people about how they feel about all this. If we had pretty good attendance to the pets, but not everybody got on there, unfortunately. That's one reason I sent those links out last week. And they're broke down so Kirby's individually you can view. I would encourage you to have your presidents look at that again, and then use that to evaluate where they might be in these various things like website, Facebook, newsletter. You know, even the branding within the meeting hall. I know we can't always control that, you know, because we're in various kinds of places. But you know, if there's some way that we can make that a little more attractive, and the people that come every week, that's not so important. But our role, as Mark will share next about membership, you know, it's critical that we get new members in our clubs. So the more that we can use some of this branding, and it's excellent. You go on My Rotary under the brand center, and you can see all kinds of stuff, and all these people of action campaigns are available. And I know if you shoot Kirby an email, if you're stuck on where to go, he'll be happy to help walk you through it, because I think we're all interested in putting our best foot forward here in every individual community in terms of what Rotary is doing.